Remember when James Cameron nearly directed a Spider-Man movie?
What about when we almost got Batman Year One with Joaquin Phoenix?
Or David Goyer's Flash movie that would have starred Ryan Reynolds?
Well, if you want to learn about all the unmade superhero movies, then check out Superhero Stuff You Should Know.
Hosted by Ben Wan and Alex Ramsey, every month we cover nostalgic superhero movies with deep dives into unmade scripts, early drafts, deleted scenes, alternate cuts, concept art, novelizations, and tie-in novels.
We also interview the people involved in making the superhero films of our childhood, with our past guests including superhero actors, directors, screenwriters, and concept artists.
So remember, that's Superhero Stuff You Should Know, or Superhero SYSK on social media. Check us out on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Remember when James Cameron nearly directed a Spider-Man movie?
What about when we almost got Batman Year One with Joaquin Phoenix?
Or David Goyer's Flash movie that would have starred Ryan Reynolds?
Well, if you want to learn about all the unmade superhero movies, then check out Superhero Stuff You Should Know.
Hosted by Ben Wan and Alex Ramsey, every month we cover nostalgic superhero movies with deep dives into unmade scripts, early drafts, deleted scenes, alternate cuts, concept art, novelizations, and tie-in novels.
We also interview the people involved in making the superhero films of our childhood, with our past guests including superhero actors, directors, screenwriters, and concept artists.
So remember, that's Superhero Stuff You Should Know, or Superhero SYSK on social media. Check us out on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Katie, I am so excited for us to start the insane journey that is this podcast, Christian Cringe. I love that we're starting with a Christmas album. We're putting it out the week before Christmas, the holiest of weeks. And that this is also going to be a sneak peek of our show to the people watching the Geekscape holiday live stream. There's so many things I love about what's about to happen right now.
Yeah, I'm super stoked. I feel like I'm not fully explaining this show well to people because of there are people that get super excited about it, and there are people that are just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, then here's the vision that I have for this show, right? Like, yes. I think that there's a kind of a multitude of layers here. And given the current political climate, I think that the show actually maybe is more important than ever.
And that's the sense I was getting the last time we recorded our very first episode.
Yeah.
Or the very first initiation.
Yeah. You'll hear it next week, podcast subscribers. But the goal that I saw with this was I think that there is a interesting divide, horrifying, but interesting. Yeah. Where there is these two branches of Christianity right now, where there's the branch that actually takes to heart the teachings of Jesus and the call to be good people. And then there's the white Christian nationalist movement, which is pretty much the antithesis of everything that Jesus was supposed to teach us. What I think is unique is that we're coming from this as you being someone who went to a Christian college. I don't know if you were going to a Christian college with the intent of being a preacher or not, or just that you wanted to stay close to Christianity and were like, oh, I'm going to a Christian arts college. And someone like me who actually at one point did want to be a youth pastor,
That's right.
Up until maybe my junior year of high school, I really was I'm going to be a filmmaker / youth pastor. That was was the goal. And I'd say that both of us have strayed from those goals.
Very much so.
Mine has strayed a little bit back onto that path in a very wobbly kind of way, while yours is continue to go in your own path. And my goal with this show is that I want people to be able to hear. I guess what I'm trying to get at is we're going to be analyzing the content that was a giant chunk of our growth at that time in the mid 90s into the mid to late 2000s. Like that's going to be our real bread and butter. We'll absolutely look at stuff newer and stuff older than that. But I think like that 94 to like 2008 is definitely going to be like our main area of expertise
Right.
that we're going to be playing with. And I think that there's a couple elements, right? I think it'll be fascinating to look at this and be like, did this push people to the bad stuff?
Right. Right. What was the end goal for them, and what was the end result from their art?
Exactly.
And I think this is what intrigued me the most about this, because look, I grew up very Christian. I was very much in the church. I was in a Presbyterian church, so Frozen Chosen. It was closest thing to Catholic in Arizona. I was very much bought and paid for by the blood of Christ back in the day. Like I was full on DC Talk Jesus freak. I was, youth counselor. I did mission trips, all the whole 9 yards. Went to college, to a Christian college. Mostly, I went to a Christian college, A, because it was a school I got into very easily.
Yeah.
B, my sister went there and I needed some familiarity because I was very scared of the whole new world. C, it was in California where I wanted to go and try this acting thing out.
Okay.
And it was a liberal arts college on top of being a Christian college. So I figured
it's
that
not
was
even the most bad of the Christian colleges you could go to in the grand scheme.
It's actually it's actually very shunned in the Christian community because there's dancing on campus.
What?
And there's like
what
live
the
music.
Footloose are they trying to do over there?
100%. No, I remember, and I have so many different, there are many stories to why my view of especially American Christianity has changed, and my relationship with Christianity has very much diverted. One of them being that when I was in college at APU, I had two roommates who fell in love with each other, and that was very much against all rules and regulations, then they could have been kicked out had they revealed themselves earlier on in their whole educational career. Seeing how a lot of that kind of panned out and seeing how some of the art that came from all this stuff, I realized how much I was indoctrinated and how there are some things that I'm like, oh, I really love this. So I don't want to prompt the audience to believe that I'm just going to be here hating on everything. I probably will hate on a lot of things because there's been a lot of growth and a lot of therapy in my life, which I think has helped me become a little bit more of a wider open view that a lot of some of this content had kind of skewed me into a narrower side of things. And when faced with reality and with real situations and real people with real circumstances that had very realistic consequences, that's what made me divert away.
And I think what'll be interesting is we're looking to have a plethora of guests on this show. And the guests I want primarily on our show is going to be a mix of either one of three categories, right? People who grew up exactly like us, and maybe some of them are still religious, maybe some of them aren't, but people who this isn't new material that we're presenting to them. There is that rose tinted nostalgia glasses that they will have for this stuff. I also want people who have never even touched this stuff. Yeah. But I want them to come in it as unbiased as possible to bring in a metalhead to listen to Christian metal and give us their honest opinion on is this good? Take the lyrics out of it, just sonically, are they good musicians or not? Finding that, or which I think is very possible for a few of these, getting some of the people who were boots on the ground, getting members of some of these bands, getting some of the filmmakers to come and talk to us about what was going on, because a lot of those people are ex-evangelical now. Yeah. And so I think that there's a lot to
It's
be learned.
honestly one of those things that like really, I think we started probably, I can't remember what Comic-Con, but we had talked about this a couple of Comic-Cons ago. And we were talking about sort of our relationship with Christianity and like all of the like random art and random movies and random video games and books. Like, I mean, this had a vice grip on so much of the content that we were consuming, to the point where like, yeah, I didn't watch Die Hard until I was like 28, you know, because I had all different versions of that were all Christian tinted. So I'm very excited to delve into some of these different things, especially the album that we're going to be talking about today.
And I think that that's why I wanted to start here, right? I wanted to start here for a couple of reasons. A, it's something I've already done a podcast on before with Christmas 365. We did this album. But B, like you said, like there's this indoctrination element, but I think something that always gets the pass, no matter what, is Christmas songs.
Christmas music, yeah.
Christmas music always gets this, like, it could be the most religious Christmas carol, but it gets the mainstream pass for the month of December. So, like, I feel like we're not going to be touching too much stuff that no one watching this live stream has ever heard before. Like, they're going to be familiar with almost every song. And it's coming from Tooth and Nail Records, which I think was a little bit more fringy than a lot of the other stuff, because Tooth and Nail had a very secular mainstream end goal in mind, more than a lot of those other bands. You've never heard this album before, correct? This is a brand new journey.
I mean, it was when you sent me the album and I saw the art, I was like, this is so familiar, but like it's sort of like deep recesses of my mind. And like some of the songs I was like, oh, wait, this band. So there was a lot of like faint memories that didn't fully form, and I don't know where they were coming from. But I think I've heard this album before, because I guarantee you, any of the youth groups that I went to, and I went to multiple as a
they had to have been playing this in December. This was the go-to December album.
Because it was like nouveau, it was more poppy, it was more of the like new wave of music of the sort of early 2000s, late 90s styles. And a lot of ska, too.
Boy, is it. All right, so let's dive in. I think the way that we're going to do this is I wrote down a couple quick notes about the song and the artist, and then I asked you to write your first thoughts on the songs, and we'll discuss. And this album starts off, track 1, Joy to the World, covered by the OC Supertones. Joy to the World is an English Christmas carol written by minister and hymnist Isaac Watts in 1719. But the version that most of us know is based off an arrangement from 1848. And the lyrics are an interpretation of Psalm 98 and Genesis 3. In North America, it is the most published Christmas hymn. This version of the song asks, yeah, but what if it was ska? Enter the OC Supertones, a band that was formed in 1991 under the name Saved. They tried to get signed by Tooth and Nail Records for many, many years, but got declined repeatedly until they changed their name. And I wrote down a little snide comment that this also was right around the time that MXPX left the label, so it might be arguable that they were desperately trying to find the next MXPX with this signing. And this particular cover would come out just around the exact same time as their second album and their biggest album, Supertones Strike Back. So, Katie, I have to ask, A, what is your experience with the Supertones? And B, what are your thoughts on their version of Joy to the World?
You know, this was one of those bands that I was like, wait, I know this band, because this was definitely one of those bands that you would play in like the bus going to like Christian camp.
Yeah.
Or like playing like, you know, as everybody was gathering for worship or whatever. But this it brought back some like odd memories that I was just like, wait, where did I hear this song? And I like faintly remember being like in a Baptist church hearing this song, and I was just like, oh yeah. Like I think a lot of this stuff was also played. So at Azusa Pacific, the college that I went to, you had to go to chapel 3 times a week. So it was live music, it was a live preacher, and it was usually televised. That kind of stuff. Yeah. So like my closest, I guess, experience with like a big church type of mentality. And these were the kinds of songs that they would play before the worship got started.
Love it.
And like honestly, I feel like it was Christian ska that got me into ska.
Oh, I mean, there's definitely they were so close together in my discovery of that genre of music. It's a real chicken and egg. I genuinely don't know which I found first, but boy, did that genre work for me. And I think the Supertones, I think this is a very fun version of what is usually a fairly dull Christmas song to me. They have a good time with it.
It's way more up tempo. It's got a lot of horns.
Boy, horns aplenty on this one.
And it's fun. It's a fun version. It's definitely one of those that I feel like in the back recesses of my mind, I was like, oh, this is when I was like, oh, you can make like slow, trudgy worship music a little bit more fun.
Well, this was right around when a group and album that we will certainly cover in the near future, the Insiders, had the Scalleluja albums where they would just
oh my god, what that name, holy shit.
Next up we have Winter Wonderland by Joy Electric. Winter Wonderland is a song written in 1934 by Felix Bernard. Due to its seasonal theme, it's often regarded as a Christmas song in the Northern Hemisphere. Since its original recording by Richard Hamper, it has been covered by over 200 different artists, and its lyrics are about a couple's romance during the winter season. This cover is by Joy Electric, which was a brand label for a series of electro and synth pop productions from Ronnie Martin. Martin began producing under the Joy Electric moniker in 1994 after the demise of his previous band, Dance House Children. This recording would have been around the time of his third and probably the breakthrough album for Joy Electric, Robot Rock. I've seen Joy Electric live at many a Christian music festival in my youth, and it was always kind of interesting to see because it's just one guy who would go on stage and he'd have synthesizers all over the place and a loop pedal, and he would create the songs in front of you with the loop pedal. He kind of fell into one of those categories where like his songs were very overtly Christian. But I think he also was like wanting to be taken seriously as like he really passionately cared about the structure. He wrote overtly Christian songs that could have made him billions of dollars if he had written them as praise and worship songs, but he wrote them as these very like genre pushing bloopy bloppy electro synth songs that no church would ever adopt into their ministry. So you could tell there was an artistry there that he was trying to achieve.
It definitely was. And I like when this song came up, I was like, ooh, don't know this band. Ooh, don't know how I feel about this song. This version, it starts a little bit like, what's the song? The Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas
Time. Yeah.
It's a little like it's very reminiscent of that start, but it's just an odd combination to me. Like this one was a total miss, and I was like, I don't even remember the band Joy Electric. This was like completely out of left field. I was like, I don't know who this is, and I looked it up and I saw that it was a one-man band, and I was like, okay, well that makes sense.
Don't worry, Katie, before this podcast wraps up, you'll learn a lot more about Joy Electric because there's at least 3 albums of theirs that we need to dive into throughout.
Good to know. And I have to also just state that like Matt is way more well versed in the music realm than I am.
I was like tooth and nail to the core. Like this was my label. Like this was my label. All right, we moved to track 3, O Come Emmanuel by Chasing Furies.
Yes.
Come O Come Emmanuel is a Christian hymn for Advent season, which is often published in books of Christmas carols. The text was originally written in Latin, and in 1851, a translation from the hymn's ancient modern became the most predominant English-speaking version of the song. Chasing Furies was an American Christian band from Fort Worth, Texas. The band consisted of 3 siblings. This actual release predates their debut album, that came out the following year with Abandon. And the band broke up immediately after their debut album came out. So this and their debut album are the only recordings of this band.
Oh no! So this song is very familiar, but like I was like, this band is not familiar.
No,
so that makes sense.
That's why. And
just one and done.
I'm always baffled by a band that breaks up after their first album in general, but a band that breaks up after their first album entirely made up of siblings is a whole other weird thing.
That that is the cringiest part of the story, because I mean you're putting a lot of layers on top of everything, like being a Christian band, being a sibling band, and like I guess trying to do the Brady Bunch style, like let's make it big, all of us together.
And then with this particular cover, I feel like they took a song that's already kind of haunting and boring and made it more haunting and boring.
Yeah. But this is definitely one of those songs that it was just like, oh, midnight services around the holiday.
Yeah. Oh, candle lights, nothing else.
Yes. Yeah, like dim lights, or no lights at all, like it felt like almost forcefully and intentionally put on to be like, now it's time to be somber. Yeah.
Track 3, time to be somber on our Christmas album.
I always remember like around the Christmas time, whenever anyone wanted to be like serious, I was like, it's not Easter, you guys. Like, we're not mourning right now. Like, why do we have to make this so serious?
We got our first original here at track number 4, a holiday song by Starflyer 59.
This was fascinating to me, this song. I looked at it and then I looked up the lyrics and I was like, were they trying to be more secular?
Well, so here's the interesting thing with this, right? I'm pulling a lot of the band descriptions straight from Wikipedia. This is the first one that does not define the band as a Christian band. It says Starflyer 59 was an American alternative rock band from Riverside, California, and was founded in 1993 by Jason Martin, the brother of Joy Electric's Ronnie Martin.
What?
Yeah, so this was an original song written from Jason and recorded at the same time as his 4th album, Fashion Focus. Now, from what I know about Starflyer, and this is like a little bit of a snapshot of Tooth and Nail. Tooth and Nail Records is by all accounts a Christian record label, but that was never, according to the founder of the record label, never his intention. He just wanted a record label for bands he found interesting, and if they had like a Christian lean, even better. And I think Starflyer was one of those bands where, the vocalist was probably of a Christian upbringing and probably wrote the occasional spiritual songs, but he more just wanted to make music. And this song has kind of like a cool, like 60s, 70s psychedelic vibe to it a little bit. Like, it's a really out there sounding song. And I used to hate this as a kid. Now it might be one of my favorite songs on the album because it's just so different. It's just so different. It sticks out on this record in a big way.
100%, like a sore thumb. Like this came up and I was just like, what did I just listen to? It's also a really short song too.
Yeah, it's like 2 minutes long. It's there and gone as quickly as it came.
Exactly. Yeah, no, this one was a little bit of a conundrum for me that I still don't know how I feel about. I don't remember this song, but this was like one of those that I was like, oh, this feels like a Christian band trying to be more secularized. To be edgy. And I don't know, like it felt like he was the entire time like talking to somebody on the soup kitchen line, just hang out with me for the holidays.
Well, let me give you one last thing. Hold on tight, because this is not the last time you'll hear the name Jason Martin on this album. Track number 5, You Gotta Get Up by Five Iron Frenzy. This is a cover of a song originally by Rich Mullins, who I'm sure we'll talk about later. Pretty predominant Christian writer of the late 80s, early 90s. And this just details the excitement of a child on Christmas morning. Five Iron Frenzy was another one of the big ska bands of the Christian 90s scene. This would have been just between their second album, our newest album ever, and their EP, Quantity is Job 1. Five Iron Frenzy, we will talk about a lot on this show because they're my favorite band of all time. I'm friends with most of the members at this point. I'm thinking we might have a Five Iron February.
Please.
But what I think is very interesting about this band, especially in the context of a lot of the other artists that we'll talk about, and when we get to Five Iron February, we'll dive even deeper into this. The first song on their very first album, and keep in mind, like, they're on a Christian label, is a song called The Old West. and it's a song vilifying the Christians of the 1800s that use Christianity to justify murder and terrible things, and uses it as an allegory for the modern day church. So like the chorus is like, Wester bust, in God we trust, we can rape, rob, kill, and steal.
What?
Yeah, like they were, and I remember the guys in the band saying like, we were a punk band first and a Christian band second, so if we saw stuff in the church that pissed us off, we were certainly going to write songs about it and not pretend that it wasn't happening. I think you're going to walk away from this podcast being a really big Five Iron Frenzy fan, because
I was already a fan of Five Iron Frenzy. Like they were one of the bands that like
they always felt cooler and different than the rest.
They always felt cooler and different, and like I had no idea about this song. I'm like totally gonna look this up afterwards, but yeah, no, I'm glad that they did that. I remember I would listen to it like in like a babysitter's car or whatever, and like, I didn't know until probably high school or something like that was a Christian band, because that was the genesis of a game that I like to play with my husband that he absolutely hates, called Did You Know This Band Is Christian? And it was one of those things that I was just like, oh, interesting, like there's some like sneakers, and Five Iron Frenzy was that for me, because they had some songs on mainstream radio, right?
Well, it wasn't that as much as they followed their hearts more than a lot of the other Christian bands, which is like a shitty, it's a shitty thing to say, but like their vibe was like, we'll do the church shows that pay well,
right?
Because once we're done those shows, we want to go on the Ska Against Racism tour, and we know that the record label won't fund us on going on that, so we have to do the church shows to keep us covered for the 3 months that we're doing ska. Like they kind of utilized the church system that would pay them way more money than a normal band to then finance doing charity stuff like that. So like they kind of found a way to make it work, and that's kind of still their attitude.
Honestly, that's a very Hollywood aspect. Like, I mean, a lot of people will do a big budget motion picture, sort of like a general audience, G-rated whatever, in order to get their passion projects made.
I feel like that's half of Richard Linklater's career, is like big Hollywood movies so that he can finance shooting Boyhood for 12 years.
You're not wrong.
So this was the most fascinating one for me to research. Track 6, Heaven's Got a Baby by Sarah Mason. An artist who I know nothing about, but I want to get your thoughts out the gate first.
Creepiest opening to a song.
Yeah, I'll come in with my down in, or a little bit later. Okay, ready?
And like I get like they were trying to go, I guess, for like a Lauryn Hill style, like let me just talk to the like recording artist, like the like people.
This is
in the
raw in the
booth.
Studio, baby. Like
but it's also Heaven's Got a Baby. It's just like this is the kind of saccharine stuff that like icks me out.
All right, so we're about to dive into a little bit that I learned about Sarah Mason here.
Please.
So Sarah Mason is an American singer and songwriter living in Nashville. She was initially signed to Charlie Peacock's Rethink label, but then signed to Word Records and is now independent. As of 2024, she runs a pottery studio. This is an original song, but it got covered by the Supertones on a different volume of Happy Christmas.
What?
Which is so weird. So Sarah is now married to a Christian philosopher and author named David Dark, who I'm not familiar with. But I wrote down the names of all of his books because reading the titles of the books, I genuinely don't know what his political leaning is. Which is, so these are the names of the books that he's written.
Oh, God.
Everyday Apocalypse, the sacred revealed through the songs of Radiohead, The Simpsons, and other pop culture icons.
Fascinating, okay.
The Gossip According to America, a meditation on God-blessing, Christ-haunted ideas. The Sacredness of Questioning Everything. Life's Too Short to Pretend That You're Not Religious.
What?
The Possibility of America from 2019. And last year, he released the book, We Become What We Normalize, What We Owe Each Other in the Worlds of Demanding Our Silence.
Okay, just by titles alone.
I'm saying right-leaning.
This is a very conflicted man.
Yes, very, very.
But also like has like I think moments of clarity, truth, but also is very deeply indoctrinated and keeps going back to the well.
Going back, because the sacredness of questioning everything, I think, is a great title for a book, because that's very important.
And should be continued, but then
the possibility of America in 2019 is like, oh.
It's a little white nationalisty.
Tiny bit. But here's the other reason why I'm like, I don't know, maybe. Not that your sisters have anything to do with your life decisions, but Sarah's sister is married to John Foreman, the lead singer of Switchfoot, who I think is like as progressive as like a Christian artist can be. So I'm like, unless they just like don't talk about anything at the dinner table when they're out together, I don't know how that works. But yeah, I remember as a kid, so 1998, I'm like 12, 13, depending on like when I'm listening to this, probably 13.
Okay.
My mom is in the church band. I may have tried to suggest that she sing this song at church. Just in that, like, hey, Mom, I discovered a great Christmas song. You've got to do it. She never did. She never indulged me in that, because actually the older I get, the less charming this song has become to my 13-year-old ears. It's just creepy and weird.
Got a baby. Yeah. Okay. What changed it for you? What made the ick come in?
I don't know, but you know what? I still love the accordion in the background. I love a tasteful accordion in the background of a song.
It is odd. I will not lie.
I was the whisper. It's like the Betty Boop whisper voice throughout the whole thing. I think it is what does it for me.
And I think that's...
It's got a Santa baby quality in a way that it shouldn't.
Yes. I think that's really what it is, because I remember in the early aughts, we had this weird, like, my dad finally was able to afford a house, and we bought this house, and it was just the most it was such a random house. Like, it was very weirdly put together, but we had a system that we could listen to a radio station throughout the house. It had like a speaker in like almost every room. It was a very weird house, and we would turn on the like radio station for the holidays or whatnot, and Santa Baby would come on, and I would always be like, I wish I could skip this, or I wish I would like turn it off for that song, because that song alone just weirds me out. But this gave me that same feeling of just like, I need to skip this song. Yeah.
Nope,
so hard.
Totally fair.
There's just something like not intentionally sexual, but sort of leaning into that.
No, it is.
That I've never enjoyed about Christian music, when you're trying to breach that gap of like appealing to secular kind of music, or like trying to be something a little bit more than not just love Jesus, but let's love each other. Like, come on, what are we doing here? Like, this is gross and weird, and I don't know what kind of indoctrination system that is going on. It's never been my bag.
You don't like hearing Little Bitty Baby and describing Jesus in a manger?
No, it's weird. It's fucking weird and gross. And like, I feel like a lot of the time, especially like in young age, like when we're exposed to these kinds of unintentionally sexual things, it like gives us a different idea of like what is, I guess, appropriate.
Yeah, no, it's we'll say boundary pushing. That'll be the way we'll say it. But you know what? The song is salvaged by the next song, I think, which is Away in a Manger, performed by Plankeye. For those of you who don't know, Away in a Manger is a Christian Christmas carol, first published in the late 19th century and used widely throughout the English-speaking world. And Plankeye is an American Christian band that formed in 1991. Fun fact about this particular song, I believe this is the first recording from the band after their original vocalist, Scott, quit to form a much less religious pop-punk band called Fan Mail instead.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So this is like their backup vocalist is now like been promoted to lead vocalist on this one.
Well, he kills it on this.
I think he kills it, and this is I mean, look, there's a lot of times where you can be like, this is possibly my favorite version of Away in a Manger I've ever heard in my entire life.
and I'm not gonna lie, I feel like some of these songs, especially more of the ska or more of the punk type songs on this album, I'm like, I feel like I've heard this somewhere. Like, I feel like it's been in a movie, or it's been...
Well, did you used to listen to Christian radio as a kid?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
There was, I believe it was a nationally syndicated, like, Saturday night for teens station called like Z-Rock or something like that. Or I forget what it was, but it would broadcast to all of the Christian radio stations at like 10 p.m. on a Saturday night, like, hey, cool teens staying up listening to the Christian radio station. And that's where I heard a lot of these songs for the first time, because come December, they were just playing anything that was on this album. Because that was what made this version of Away in a Manger and Supertones Joy of the World was what made me even know this record existed and made me like seek it out as a kid. And this version's awesome. They do that like row, row, row your boat part for one of the verses where each one of them is singing like a half step off the other person. Oh, it's so cool. Like it shouldn't be this cool.
No, it's actually it really freaking slaps. I'm not gonna lie. It was one of those that I was like, oh, I remember this one, because like this was one that like if it came on in the car and like Christian radio station, or if it was like before a worship or whatever, I was just like, yeah, this is like, it was kind of like a fun, like, I don't know, because I grew up Presbyterian, like everything, like every musical performance was sort of to be appreciated in total silence. There wasn't even clapping. So like you would have like an 8-year-old kid do like a flute solo that was incredible, and you're like, holy shit, that was awesome. And you did not clap. You just appreciated it in silence. So when something like this came out, I was like, yeah, Way in a Manger, bitch.
But sadly, all the good feelings go away immediately when we get to the next track, which is God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen by Almonzo. I think is it Almonzo. God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen is an English traditional Christmas carol. An early version of this carol was found in an anonymous manuscript dating back to 1650. And I know nothing about this band. Nothing. Even Wikipedia didn't have a hyperlink or anything to teach me about them. And you know what? I really didn't want to know more about them, because this is like a guy playing a cello and a drummer and like whispering an already kind of boring Christmas song. Bring me the Bare Naked Ladies rendition of this, please. Like, I need some.
Right. Yeah. Give me a little more horn in there. Yeah. This is the male version of the creepy girl voice.
Yes.
It's the like wanna be sort of that like Celtic, I don't know, like choral type sound, but at the same time like a little bit harder. This one I did not remember. I think it was another one of those I wish I could skip this type of thing. And
I almost wish it was an instrumental. I bet if this was like a really cool instrumental where you got like an electric guitar playing the melody line of it, I'd be like way more into it. But that voice just detracts anything that might be cool happening with the instrumentation of it entirely. Almanzo, we hardly knew Zo.
Almanzo sounds like a Muppet. Like
it does. But it sounds like the name of my least favorite Muppet. Like I'm like, oh great, 100%. Almanzo's here.
Yeah.
This album, if nothing else, whoever was putting this track list together knew how to bring you back up from a low.
Yes.
Because here we are, track 9, Feliz Navidad by Pep Squad. Feliz Navidad is a Christmas song that was first written and recorded in 1970, which, excluding the Rich Mullins cover, makes this the most modern Christmas song that's covered on this album, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Pep Squad was a very short-lived band. I believe they only had one album that was called No Doy that I purchased and have like real no memories of this band. I think they had a female vocalist and a male vocalist that would like trade off on songs. But this is not a ska band, side note. This is a very ska feeling song, but I think they just had a guest trumpet player to like give it a vibe. But I like this version of Feliz Navidad.
I really enjoyed this version. This was a delightful surprise, especially after the last one. And it was one of those that like I was like, oh, what a great name for a band too. Like I was like, I had no idea who this was. I was like, oh, but this seems like a fun like. Oh, I would totally be interested in hearing more, and that's such a shame that they were short-lived.
Yeah, like literally, like I think there are 11 songs that exist by them, and one of them is Feliz Navidad.
Interesting. I wonder where they all went off to, scurried out to.
Yeah, no clue. But Nepotism returns on track 10. Holly Jolly Christmas by Bon Voyage. Now, Holly Jolly Christmas was written by Johnny Marks in 1962. And Bon Voyage is a musical duo consisting of Jason Barton of Starflyer 59
There it is.
and his wife Julie. And this would have come
That's
out the
right.
same time as their debut album. Take this how you will. Having heard other songs by Bon Voyage, this is the best Bon Voyage song.
I didn't listen to Bon Voyage. They were not something familiar to me. As soon as I heard the twang of country music, I was like, nope, absolutely not.
In their defense, if there was a Christmas song that calls for maybe a little bit of twang, it's usually Holly
It
Jolly
is.
Christmas.
Or Santa Baby. No.
Oh yeah, no. Well, that's when you're singing to Santa and he's also your cousin.
Yeah, no. This was a little bit of a okay.
Yeah, at least,
Next.
hey, you know what? At least it's short. But then we get one of the longer songs on the album, and I'm curious what you're going to say about this one. So this is track 11, Oh Holy Night, performed by 7 Day Jesus. The carol of Oh Holy Night is derivative of a poem written in 1847, and 7 Day Jesus was a Christian rock band formed in Huntington, West Virginia in 1994. The band disbanded in 1998, which means that this was their last ever recording as a band, was this version of Oh Holy Night.
Oh.
I mean, it is one of the more religious of the Christmas traditional songs. It's also kind of considered one of the more vocally challenging songs to sing because it has highs and
A
lows.
very high register, yeah.
I have always liked this version, but I also totally understand why some people would hate having to sit through the 5.5 minutes that is this version. So that's why I'm curious where you land.
The length does kind of belabor it, but the sound of it is actually quite lovely and sort of reminds me of like, I mean, it makes sense that they're from Vermont. Like it feels like a little bit more of that folk type of music that kind of has a little bit of just beautiful harmony, like beautiful vocalization, and then like a really nice thread of music, but the guitar strum is a little bit monotonous.
It gets old. You know what it is though? When I was re-listening to it this time, I think what I like about this version is like, you know, when you're listening to a vocalist, I'm going to use this as a prime example actually. In Nirvana Unplugged, when Kurt Cobain did the 3 Meat Puppets covers, he intentionally put it in a key that was just slightly out of his range so that his vocals would strain when singing those because he thought that it would make it sound more passionate. I like that you can tell that the vocalist is really straining to hit some of the notes, but it feels like authentically passionate because of that. Like,
Sure.
Like it doesn't feel like, I don't know. I feel like I get more...
It doesn't feel overproduced. It doesn't feel over like worked on and showing
feel,
off.
Yeah, I feel more hearing this guy sing this than if I heard like Celine Dion hit it with precision for the same amount of time.
Or like a little eunuch boy who is singing at the front of the choir type of thing.
Exactly.
Which tends to be what Oh Holy Night always is. It's sort of it's another drudging sort of standard, especially around this time, and it's a show-off song. So it was an interesting. I love that you were wondering how I felt about the song. I was like, I still don't know if I know how I feel about this song, because it's well done. It's just a little monotonous. I enjoy it, but like with a little bit of squinting eyes.
Fair. Very fair. But I'm sure you had a lot more fun with track 12, Mili Kaliki Maha from 180. So Mili Kaliki Maha is a Hawaiian-themed Christmas song written in 1949 by R. Alex Anderson. Boy, 180. We're going to have fun with this band. What a name, because this band did constant 180s musically. So the band formed as an American Christian ska band, which is when this album came out. Their second album, they changed their name to Flight 180, and that was an all-swing cover album right around the time of the swing revival. And then for their third and final album, they dropped their horn section and just did like a female Gwen Stefani type punk sounding album. So I feel like this band was just looking for a bandwagon to jump on at any moment. Also, the Wikipedia was confounding because it would say like they formed in 1989 or 1998 and immediately got a record label. Later on, it would say they formed in 2000, despite the fact that their first album came out in 1998. Like it was confusing.
I feel like we're the culmination of many Wikipedia entries on this band is what that sounds like. But
it was so hard to follow. I think that the band put out 3 okay albums throughout their career that we'll definitely talk about all 3 of them and compare and contrast the sounds. But all of that aside, this is a fun version of Mili Kawiki Maha because it's ska, and they do a cool little piece of trickery where it starts off as like you hear the ocean and it's
standard.
like a guy really off key singing while playing a ukulele, and then
sort
you get
of
this
that
like
schmarmy thing that you expect from this song, sort of like an Elvis Presley type of like
it's perfect, and then you get that and then right into like the most fast-paced fun version of the song, which like I'll be honest, I have no opinion on this song. Like this is like not a Christmas song I seek out ever.
No, I never. I feel like of the version of this song, like this is the most fun to listen to because of that switch up. This was also another band that I wasn't familiar with, and the description totally matches the name.
Yep.
But I first listening to this song, I was like, "What is with these waves? I can't even hear the singer." I was like, "What the hell are we doing here?" I was like, "This feels like a Muppets bit." I feel, and then it switches up on you. And it's a fun song. It's not one I seek out by any stretch of the imagination.
Look, my hot take, if not for Christmas Vacation, I feel like this would have been a song that we forgot existed as a Christmas song. I feel like Christmas Vacation kind of put the song back into people's memories and so on and so forth. Probably a band you definitely knew a little bit about coming into this album. Track 13, Evergreen by Switchfoot, an original song by Switchfoot. And I just wrote this down as a fun fact. It appears to be the only Christmas song that Switchfoot has ever written because this song, Evergreen, appears on 5 different Christmas compilations, including a later Happy Christmas album. Exact same recording, not a re-recording. The only thing I can think of with that, well, actually, it's not even that I think of. I know for a fact, because I was there and lived it, was that the Happy Christmas album, after Meant to Live became like this unexpected radio hit, they just re-released the song as the opening track to the next Happy Christmas album, desperately hoping.
Great for Switchfoot.
Yeah, great for them too. You know what? It's like when you have a movie that you made for like no money, and then like 10 years later, one of those actors becomes huge, and even though they were in like one scene, you make the poster their face, and you're just like, I got him first, everybody.
Yep. It's the first comment on a YouTube page.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, cool.
Yeah, great for you. That's
exactly.
And this is like, not for nothing, this song is not good enough to be on 5 different compilations.
That was what I was just thinking. Like, that was the exact thought process in my head. I was like, it's a fun song. And I'm a big Switchfoot fan. I've always liked their music, and I didn't realize just how much like they were deeply ingrained in sort of more secular music on top of being a very, like, this was the band that I, like, when I was trying to bring people to Christ back in the day, like, this was the band that I would have them listen to. Yeah. This song, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this song. And it's like, it's a well-constructed song. It's
but it's really early nice. Switchfoot. You can tell that this is like early before they've really honed their writing skills.
Their skills and also just like their entire tonal sound of like what they were.
So I have a very quick fun fact about Switchfoot.
Oh,
that will also be a fun 5 Iron Frenzy fact, and I'll just throw another like log on the fire of like why I love 5 Iron and why you will continue to love 5 Iron.
I believe
5 Iron Frenzy was on tour with Switchfoot as their opening act when Switchfoot was like a fairly new album. Think like New Way to Be Human era of Switchfoot, like very early in their career. 5 Iron Frenzy was playing Cornerstone, and Switchfoot was not on the bill.
Oh.
And Five Iron was like, you guys are making a huge mistake. And Five Iron was supposed to headline Saturday night. Like they had an hour set. So Five Iron played for 15 minutes and then got off stage and let Switchfoot come during their set to play 20 minutes and then came back and finished out their set because they're like, you guys, it was a real like Marty, it was a real like Marty McFly, like you guys might not enjoy this, but your kids are gonna love it.
Will.
like it was like they just saw something in that band of like, no, this is the band that's going to blow up, and you guys are idiots for not seeing that already. Almost as big as House of Wires.
Dude.
On track 4, Do You Hear What I Hear, performed by House of Wires. Do You Hear What I Hear was a song written in 1962, which I can't believe it's that recent.
I don't believe that either, but through this song and this rendition, I do believe.
Maybe. And House of Wires was an early example of Tooth and Nail, very briefly and failed, attempted to have an all techno and electronic music subsidiary.
Oh, really tried, didn't they?
They did, because like this was right when techno soundtracks were starting to pop off for every movie. So like you had to do it.
You have to go to Germany to get the good stuff.
we this is something that's come up on Christmas 365 quite a bit. Dylan and I both are of the belief that Do You Hear What I Hear is the worst, just like the absolute worst, and that there is no good version of it, and this isn't going to change that.
There is, and it was funny because when I saw this song pop up, I was like, oh, I think it's that one version that I really like, and I couldn't find what version it was that I was thinking of, because like there is a version of this song that I really like, and this was like, as soon as it started up, I was like, what the hell am I hearing right now?
Track 15, I would say of all the songs on this album, this is the biggest one that I've had a 180 on since I first heard it as a kid. This is a song called Asia Minor by
Asia Minor.
Rough name.
Yep.
By Fold Zindora. This is an original song by the band. Fold Zindora was an alternative rock band based out of California. They released 4 albums between 1995 and 1999, and they are a side project of an industrial band named Mortal. I used to hate this song and everything about it. And then in the last like 3 or 4 years, I was driving late at night. I had my Christmas playlist on. This just happened to be on it because I would put every Christmas song I owned on a playlist. And it was like snowing, the lights were out, and it was just that perfect. Like, you know how sometimes it's
just
the right mood, and then all of a sudden you love the song?
Yeah.
That was for me, was I was just like, I think that of all of the songs on this album, this is the only song that I can describe as a mood. Like this song is it's a vibe, it's a mood. You're either feeling the vibe or you're not feeling it, but it's not really a song to me.
It was, the one word that I kept thinking was interesting. Yeah. Like, because that's all I could. First of all, don't really understand the title of this song.
I don't either. Okay. So if you search Asia Minor, which I did, it is a peninsula in a region of Turkey. It's a peninsula in West Asia that makes up a majority of the land area of Turkey.
Okay.
So,
well, again, that word comes back. Interesting.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. That is information I now have.
Yeah, there we go. We can live with that. We're in the final 3. Here we go. Track 16, another original. This one, It's Always Christmas at My House by Huntingtons. It's an original by the band. They were a punk band from the Baltimore, Maryland area that formed in 1995. And this would have come out just as they had signed to Tooth and Nail after 3 independent releases. I know that I read an interview with one of the guys at one point where he said, everyone always said that they were a Ramones ripoff band, and he was like, I'd like to push back on that. We were definitely more influenced by like Screeching Weasel and like the bands that were like the 90s Ramones clone. But here's the thing, that also falls into question when they released 3 Ramones cover albums during their time as a band. So like,
buddy,
take that with a grain of salt. I remember Dylan and I joked around about if only we knew this band, we would have asked for this song to be the theme song to Christmas 365. I love this song.
It's a good song.
It's a good song, and I like that it took me a long time to realize that they're not saying it's good that it's always Christmas at their house. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, this isn't like a I wish it was Christmas every day type thing.
Right.
This is
Right.
like, we're too lazy to take down the decorations, so it's just always Christmas here now.
Well, which feels like it has that sort of punk like message to it, where it's just like, yeah, we're gonna sing about this, but we're also kind of making a commentary on it, and that was like, especially after the last 4 or 5 songs, I was like, it was refreshing to hear this one. Another band that I had not been familiar with. This song felt vaguely familiar, but like maybe I'd only heard it once or twice when I was growing up. But this was a breath of fresh air from all the other songs that came before it in this album.
I am also very curious on your thoughts on track 17.
I knew you were going to ask.
We Three Kings by the Dingees. We Three Kings is a Christmas carol that was written by John Henry Hopkins Jr. in 1857. The Dingees were a multi-genre band that formed in the summer of 1996 in Orange County, California. The band is slightly a supergroup as it brought together members of Reliant K, Supertones, and Project 86, all acting as the backup band for this California singer-songwriter who went by the name Peg Leg. And this was actually a collaboration between that group, Joy Electric, and 180. So 180 provided the female vocals on this. Joy Electric provided a lot of the weird like synthy sounds in the background. And this is like a reggae dub version of We Three Kings, which I'm really into. Like, if I was making a Christmas stoner comedy, you better believe that this is playing as people are getting high at a party. Like, this is
hell yeah. And I want to see that movie, and I want to be in that movie. This was it's like a minute 17 intro before you actually get into the singing, and it was like when this song starts out, I was just like, okay, yeah, I dig this. This is a cool vibe. Like, I'm digging it. And then the singing comes in, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm not into this.
Yeah, there's
and like I dig reggae. Like I do. Like mentioning all of those bands that were a part of this, I was like, okay, I think there might have been too many cooks.
Too many cooks in the kitchen. That makes sense. Well, and then this would be a perfect ending to the album, but instead they were like, you know what you'd rather have? A 7-minute post-grunge song. And we end with Savior of the Fools by Puller. This is original from Puller. Puller was a post-grunge band formed in the mid-90s. They released 3 full-length albums and 1 split EP with Tooth and Nail Records. And this came out just around the time of their second album, Closer Than You Think. And my God, does this not need to be 7 minutes?
No, it does not. No, it's another one that's a little more monotonous, but it has a really interesting. I want to feel safe to say almost like a Northern California folk vibe, but also with a rock element to it. It's, like I get the post grunge, it makes sense, but this was another interesting song for me.
Yeah. This is not my favorite.
Yeah.
So, it's a real bummer that this ends on it. Here's my closing question for you, because we're running over the hour just now.
Sure.
If you were to put together a Christmas party playlist, you don't have to name specific tracks, but of the 18 tracks,
I've got the list.
Ballpark, how many do you think make it onto your playlist?
Ballpark, I would probably say like 2 or 3.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, because there's just that section that comes right, like
that middle.
That middle section is like, whoa. It's always Christmas at my house. I feel like is like a fun one to have. That is exactly one of those songs that I would put into a playlist when I would hang out with my secular friends, just to be like, hey, do you know this band is a Christian band? Like back in the day, like I had like such a weird pride about that back in the day, and now I just do it to torment my husband. But yeah, there's I feel like it's mostly like the ska or punk versions that I would be like, yeah, totally. How many Matthew Kelly would you put on your, and have you put on your?
I mean, the question is have, and the answer is probably like
All of them.
14.
Out of 18 songs,
Yeah,
would
like
you
14
really,
of them, I would
even Away in
say.
a Manger?
Oh, definitely Away in a Manger.
Or I mean, oh no, Heaven's Got a Baby. That's the
Heaven's
one
Got
that
a Baby is one of the 4 that's not making the cut.
Interesting. Yeah, good. Okay,
Let's
good.
see. Like, O Come Emmanuel, definitely not making the cut. Heaven's Got a
Right.
Baby, definitely not making the cut. God Rest You Merry Gentlemen, definitely not making the cut.
Yep.
I'll give the Holly Jolly Christmas a pass. I'll even give the Switchfoot song a pass. Do You Hear What I Hear? Not making the cut. And Savior of the Fools not making the cut. So that's the 5 that I wouldn't include. So I guess 13 out of 18.
Okay.
I like variety. I like people to be like, ooh, what a change. Now we have a country twang suddenly in this party.
No, absolutely not.
Well, everybody, stay tuned. There's going to be tons of more Christian Cringe coming down the line. And I hope you all have an absolute blast. And we'll be back next week with more fun.
Cringy Christian stuff.
We'll be back next week with us punking your husband, and stay tuned for that.
Remember when James Cameron nearly directed a Spider-Man movie?
What about when we almost got Batman Year One with Joaquin Phoenix?
Or David Goyer's Flash movie that would have starred Ryan Reynolds?
Well, if you want to learn about all the unmade superhero movies, then check out Superhero Stuff You Should Know.
Hosted by Ben Wan and Alex Ramsey, every month we cover nostalgic superhero movies with deep dives into unmade scripts, early drafts, deleted scenes, alternate cuts, concept art, novelizations, and tie-in novels.
We also interview the people involved in making the superhero films of our childhood, with our past guests including superhero actors, directors, screenwriters, and concept artists.
So remember, that's Superhero Stuff You Should Know, or Superhero SYSK on social media. Check us out on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.